All right. Byte Wellness fam, can you believe this is the last Wednesday in January? This is the last Wednesday of our New Year, New Moves challenge. We are almost squarely 1 month into the new year. And if you've been following the challenge from the beginning, you have spent almost every day of this month, so far, every day of the new year, exercising for at least 1 minute a day. Okay. And now we're going to talk about why it is that we've been focused on this goal of 1 minute workouts every day. And in order to do that, in order to understand the value of these 1 minute workouts, you've got to unpack what it looks like to create new habits. And so our discussion questions got at that this week, as they usually do. So the question was, what triggers you to exercise every day? Is it an alarm? Is there another event that is there a place? Is there a person that triggers you to do your 1 minute workout? And this question is really the cornerstone of uh, our new habit development because we want to build automaticity. We've been talking about this every week, right? What it takes to build a habit, or what a habit really is a behavior that you carry out on a consistent and regular basis, and really without having to think about it. We brush our teeth when we wake up in the morning and before we go to sleep at night. And you don't think so actively about it. You're not making a decision per se to brush your teeth. It's just a thing that you do. It's the thing you've always done. It's what happens, right? So, our goal in building any healthy habit, whether it's eating, rest, or exercise, is to find ways to redesign our lives and our mindsets such that the thing that we want to do on a regular basis, this healthy habit that is our goal, becomes so automatic, we don't have to think consciously about it. Because let me tell you, when you're busy and stressed and life is doing what it does, we fall back on the things that are automatic. We fall into um, subconscious, our subconscious takes over. We fall into the automatic actions that our brain takes when we don't have the time or energy to make what we would consider the most rational choices. We fall back on all these behavioral heuristics, is what behavioral scientists call them. All these tricks that our brain plays on us, all these ways that our brain decides what to do outside of our consciousness. So, what you want really is to build these habits that are truly automatic, that truly you do on autopilot, so that even when things go wrong in life, even when we're completely stressed, you still find time to work out because it's a thing that you've done. You don't stop brushing your teeth when you're incredibly stressed out, in most cases, right? You find time to do it without actually having to find time. It's built into your everyday. So, this question of what triggers you to exercise every day, hopefully, you have answered that uh, throughout the course of this month. You have figured out, even before I ask the question, what your triggers are based on your consistent exercise. Now, we have to say, and I've been emphasizing this every month, you guys know that the 1 minute of exercise a day does not meet the exercise guidelines of the CDC or the World Health Organization, which recommends at least 75 minutes of vigorous intensity exercise every week, or at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise every week in order to maintain optimal health. And those are general guidelines for the average adult. So 1 minute a day doesn't get you to 75, much less 150 minutes a week. But what we focused on this challenge was building the habit of just exercising, just get yourself moving. At that time, we focused on turning exercise into your toothbrushing, making it as automatic as possible. So if you decided to extend your toothbrushing from 2 minutes to, I don't know, a 30-minute process for whatever reason, you're double flossing and then you decide to do like a facial skincare routine, add that on, you're more able to maintain that habit regularly because it's tied to toothbrushing, which is a thing that you do every day. So for our 1 minute workouts, once you get those down, you're doing them reliably every day. Takes a lot less work and a lot less energy to extend some of those 1 minute workouts to a 30-minute workout or a 1 hour workout. And before you know it, you've hit your 75 or 150 minutes of exercise each week without having to use incredible willpower. It's just a thing that happens now. Okay. We talked about why we are focusing on this 1 minute of exercise. Even the 1 minute of exercise can be beneficial to our health in terms of managing blood sugar, blood pressure, aiding in weight loss, improving mood, building strength and mobility. But then, of course, as we discussed, just building the discipline of exercising on a regular basis. So, over these last few weeks, we talked about the 4 steps required to build exercise habits. And the first step is actually tied to the step that we're talking about today. So, the first step was to create protected time for your exercise every day. And then we focused on minimizing the barriers, so making the challenges easier to surmount, and then increasing our incentives and our assets, increasing the factors that make us more likely to work out, even as we're decreasing the factors that make us less likely to work out. And so now we get to adding triggers to make sure that the workout actually happens. This is like the cherry on top of the sundae. Okay, so what is an exercise trigger? So the really basic way of thinking about a trigger is, an alarm on your phone, your watch, or some form of reminder. So, during this challenge, we've been sending folks who participated, we've been sending you text messages as a reminder. You get it every day at 2 p.m. Central. It's a reminder to work out. It's a reminder to keep taking care of yourself. If you haven't had your exercise by that time in the day, then that's a reminder to figure it out. But you can arrange to have your alarm go off at whatever time you've decided works for you. You can have that accountability partner that we talked about getting last week. You can have that partner text you around the time that you've decided you need to work out. And you can get creative with it, right? So if you're not already on our text thread and you're not getting these daily text messages, then go ahead and send us a text message. So send the year 2022 to our phone number 1-224-302-6224 in order to get daily workout reminders. And today, let's see, we are in the last week of the challenge, but it's not too late for you to sign up if you're one of our one of our newsletter members and you haven't been getting the text messages yet. So you can have, a more formal trigger, an actual alarm to remind you to work out. But then there are these more creative ways to think about triggers. So there are people who can trigger you to work out, right? If there's somebody that you see at a certain time of day, maybe they can be your workout partner. If you're taking care of your kids at home, you wake up, they're depending on what size they are. If you can lift them in your arms, maybe going in to change the baby's diaper is your trigger to work out. Maybe if baby's awake, you can do a few uh what would you call them? Do a few like dumbbell presses with the baby, right? Do a few bicep curls with the baby. Do a few squats with baby in your arms. And I've seen some of you guys do this with kids who are up to 10 years old. So just gauge the amount of weight that you can safely carry as you're deciding to do this. But the person who triggers your workout might just be your child. It might be your partner. It might be an accountability partner who's actually going to work out with you. Um, and then but this is someone that you want to make sure that you see this person every day, right? We are trying to maintain this daily habit. And so this needs to be a person that you will encounter on a daily basis. And then another type of exercise trigger might actually just be a location, right? So if there is some place that you're going essentially every day, um, it might be that you're going to work, you're going into the office, and that is your trigger. Once you get to the office, I'm going to walk around the office 3 times, and that's my exercise. You may have a workout space in your office so that uh, potentially during lunch or during some form of break time or once all your work is done, you're able to visit that exercise space and do a formal workout. Um, the place might be your kitchen, it might be your home office, it might be, you know, the kitchen table or dining room table or couch that you consider your home office. The place might be situated right in front of your television. So every time you watch TV or set up your device for streaming, you are triggered to do your quick 1 minute plus workout, right? So get creative with these locations. Figure out what is going to be your toothbrush trigger. What is your version of waking up and going to sleep in order to trigger you to work out the same way that waking up and going to sleep triggers you to uh, brush your teeth? So, the last thing we talked about people, we talked about places. The last way to think about exercise triggers is in terms of events. And I kind of just gave you a clue in talking about toothbrushing that happens when you wake up and when you go to sleep. Um, there are folks who are really great about brushing their teeth after sugary meals or snacks. And so not everyone does that, but certain people have trained themselves to just to remove the sugar from their teeth. So similarly, you can tie your workouts to certain events. Maybe you decide that it's easiest for you to do a few laps around the block or around your house, do some lunges up and down your hallway, do some squats at the kitchen counter at certain times during the day. Is it during your lunch break? at work or in your home office? Is it uh, right before dinner time? Is it while you are cooking dinner, perhaps? Is it um, in the morning while you're getting coffee prepared and you're waiting for the coffee cup or you're waiting for it to brew coffee or tea? Do you get down and do a plank? Do you get down and do some ab work, some jumping jacks just for a minute or two? What is going to be this special event? The way to think about it is in terms of Pavlov's dog, right? So, well, there were multiple dogs in this Pavlov experiment. And I mean, I think you guys have probably heard the details of this, but there's this scientist uh, named last name Pavlov, and I can already tell I'm probably going to butcher this, but the basics to know are that there were these dogs that he experimented with. The question was whether you could train dogs to essentially learn, right? Whether you could create learning in dogs. And the way that they built this learning is they would feed the dogs and ring a bell. And eventually they would ring a bell before every feeding. And so dogs hear the bell and then they're fed. Feeding makes you happy, triggers endorphin release, etc. So eventually, dogs would hear the bell ring, but there was no food coming. So, in order to teach the dogs that the bell signals food, the bell had to accompany food, and food had to accompany the bell for a certain period of time for the dogs to automatically expect food to follow the bell. And when food stopped coming right after the bell, the dogs continued to expect it. They'd go to whatever door the food was coming from, they'd bark, they'd anticipate the food. And so Pavlov was able to show learning. What it really shows is, or where it's relevant for us, is in underpinning the science of behavior change, the science of shifting habits, and the importance of building triggers. If you can train your brain to associate any alarm or those people, places, or events that we talked about earlier with working out on a consistent basis, you do that long enough, then your brain is going to associate those things with working out. It's going to trigger the desire to work out, the plan to work out without you having to feel like you're forcing yourself to do it. It becomes as automatic as toothbrushing. And so you end up getting the right combination of willpower or motivation, and you make sure that your activity is easy enough for you to achieve. And then you're able to set up your triggers, whether it be an alarm for time or a person or a place or an event. Et voila, you have your new exercise habit. So if you haven't identified a trigger, keep on working on that, guys. You do not have to stop. You don't have to stop your daily workouts once this challenge ends. Once this challenge ends, your workout doesn't stop, right? Your exercise habit is just getting started. So Keep up the good work. I will see you guys later. I'll text you a link to have um, a call with me this coming up later this week. And happy healthy living.